I'm I'm done with the thought that you can maximize DA. DA's role is going to be to score off of pick and rolls and off of rebounds that they can get. Every time we want to act like this guy can be something, he disappoints. So I'm done with the thought that he can be more than what he's been at any given time. This is going to come down to how he plays in the pick and roll, and if he shows aggression on the boards and defensively, that's where I think his impact
in the playoff run. They weren't running sets for him either.
No, I agree.
That's a maximized DA because he's taking advantage of the opportunities that are there,
yes,
right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you're not designing plays for DA. You're just not.
Fair.
Right. Like you're designing plays for Book and KD. But when he has those opportunities to take advantage, he's got to be able to do that. Otherwise, we're getting bounced in the second round this year too.
Yeah, I'm back at the, I'm done getting super excited when DA has a week that he's averaging 25 and 15. Like I want to see consistent effort. I need 16 and 12. Like give me 16 and 12 a night and I'm going to feel like you're getting something out of him as long as he's not making little mental mistakes that cost this team.
Right. You look at his production recently without KD, and part of the frustration over the last week is that he hasn't been able to step up and shoulder more of the offensive load. And again, I say he just doesn't have the skill set to create his own offense. And when you take KD out of the equation and you don't have Mikal and Cam Johnson shooting or floor spacing, it really cramps things for him in the middle. That makes his life difficult. So if Josh Okogie, if Torrey Craig, if guys like that aren't hitting, if Damian Lee's not playing, that hinders his space even more. They're just going to sag in and take away a really efficient shot for him. And the foul trouble last night obviously didn't help because he was playing well in that first half. But it is one of those situations where people are expecting him to shoulder the load offensively right now. He's never been a guy who creates a ton of his own offense. You maximize him when KD is back with proper floor spacing, with his gravity, with setting good screens, with crashing the offensive glass, with running the floor in transition. Those are all the telltale signs we've seen of DA the last few years that contributed to that finals run of him doing the little things, obviously defensively as well. And I think he'll be better about that once Kevin Durant is back. They just need to find a way to get him more involved during this stretch right now. And I think part of that is they've got to put more floor spacers out on the floor with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, the last two games, they haven't shot very many threes, and they haven't made well. haven't made them either. So, like, that's part of it. But I think that 16 and 16 game we saw from DA when KD was out there and Book was out there, that's kind of that's kind of what I want to see is be highly engaged on the boards, help them get some second chance looks. That's going to be highly impactful. And if you give me 16 to 20, bonus.
RV sent us a super chat and said, time we trade DA now, seen enough of him. And we got a couple people in the chat who are feeling the same way. I'm not on board with that just yet.
You can't trade him right now. Let's revisit it in the summer. Let's see what happens between now and
that's
June.
what they're talking
You
about.
literally can't trade him right now, yeah. So
no, they're saying as soon as you're available to be able to trade him, let's move him.
No, I get that. But.
All right, Jesus bless America. All right, let's talk about that. If you really want to go down this road, they traded Mikal, Cam, and Jay for KD and 4 picks for KD. If you think you're going to trade DA and get anything significant in return, then you're just high. It's not going to happen.
Why do you say that?
I just don't think that they're like for this fan base, for our fan base. I just don't think that whatever they get in return for DA is going to satisfy everybody. It's just not. It's going to be too little. James Jones sucks. Everybody else is garbage. These guys are scrubs. They can't do what they need to do. Imagine trading a first-round pick for this guy or first overall pick for this guy. What a waste. Nobody's ever going to be happy. And it's just like DA is actually a good fit for what they're going to try to accomplish and the pieces around him. Because, yeah, he might want to score more, but he doesn't need to. He can rely on the other guys and just rebound and do the same things that we asked him to do in the finals run. Like that should be it.
I think if he does those things, then yeah, I don't see the purpose in trading for him. But if you go into this playoff run and you need him to do those little things that they've needed him to do, and we've seen what happens when he does those things, like 2021, and we've seen during the regular season, during some of these spells where he doesn't, I do think it is something you consider. And it's not because you're going to get a player on par with what DA is individually. It's because you believe that if you have just an above average center who protects the rim, who sets good screens, who rolls hard, crashes the glass, you can allocate, instead of spending max money on a center who doesn't create a lot of his own offense, you can allocate some of that money into another shot creator, into another wing defender, and get a replacement caliber center in the process. Like, you're not going to get a top 5 center by trading DA. It's all about allocating that money somewhere else into skill sets that fit your system better.
Look at this comment from Capitan, whatever. A trade for a starting caliber center and small forward would be good. Do you really think you're going to get a starting caliber center and small forward for DA?
I don't know about both, but I think you can get a starting caliber center just about anywhere, because you just need somebody who can protect the rim, who can defend in space, and who can set good screens.
But there's not that many guys like that in the league.
Wow Factor said you can trade him for
that can defend in space. That's a huge ask for a lot of centers.
It is, but it's not as uncommon. Like, DA has not been that great defensively this season. Like, when he's been on and he does those things, yeah, it's great, but they have him in the drop a lot of the time. So their defensive scheme, because they're undersized behind him, can't even capitalize on that skill set on the perimeter. Like, it's not something that he's bringing to the table right now. His rim protection hasn't been great this season. It's gotten better over the last month or so. But if he locks in defensively for this playoff run and does those little things, no, you don't need to trade him, because he can maximize what's around him. But if he doesn't, I think you do need to seriously consider it and see what you can get to. You can't waste Booker and Kevin Durant, and you can't wait for DA to suddenly flip the switch and decide, okay, now I'm going to continue to do the things I talk about doing all the time.
But why would we even trust it if he does it in the playoffs? We saw him do it in the playoffs.
He's done it in 2 back-to-back playoffs.
No, he did not last year. He was not the same guy he was in the finals run last year as he was this year.
In the Pelican series, yes.
You
in the Mavs series, no.
So much
how
on
do I
DA.
flip-flop? No, I don't. Not in the playoffs, I don't.
No.
Not even a little bit in the playoffs, Espo.
Like
In the regular season, yeah, he's been trash. He was trash at the beginning of the season. Yeah. Like, everybody in my blind grandma could see that he was trash at the beginning of the season. I did not flip-flop. I don't like that you say that, because I'm sitting here telling you, like, he was trash at the beginning of the season. I called him out for being trash at the beginning of the season. Then he played better, and I'm like, okay, this is the DA we expect. In the playoffs, he's been largely consistent in the playoffs. He literally saved us in that Pelican series. Without DA, you don't win that series at all. Chris Paul had a huge part to that too, as well. But DA was fantastic in that Pelican series. The Maverick series was kind of mid for him. Okay. Like, you can take a few games here and there, whatever. But for the most part, in DA's playoff career, he has been as consistent as you could hope him to be.
Okay, but is that enough to then go through another regular season like we continually experience with him, waiting for him to be something else? I don't know. Like, to me, I think we all can agree the best deal that they were ever going to have was when Indy wanted to trade Sabonis for him. And if you play revisionist history, that may have been the one where you go, well, that could have worked out a little bit better. But then you go, I don't know, does KD wind up here if you do that? I have no idea. The thing is, you're now committed to paying him max money. Who's going to want to trade for him at max money? And how do we deal with that? How can you? And you're 100% right. And it doesn't matter who they get; the fans aren't going to be happy with it.
No,
you're 100% right there.
Oh, I know that.
There's like nobody's gonna be happy, even if it's a better fit for the team. There's no win here. And my apologies. You're right. That's not flip-flopping. You're reacting to the situation in season. But you're right. In the playoffs, he's shown up. But I just think. I don't know that that's worth the juice is worth the squeeze on that. If
we're talking about winning a championship,
well, if they
you would
win
think
it,
that is worth the squeeze, right?
Yeah,
like I would say that. Like, if they have another run to the finals and DA does exactly what he's done for the most part, like for 85% of his playoff career, then I would be more than happy with that for this particular team. Now, if you trade him away and you're thinking Okay, I'm obviously we haven't done any research on this to figure out, because we didn't know that this question was going to come about. But like
Right.
to try and find that one guy that would be the perfect fit for what this group does, I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't think that player exists, because there's too many people out there that want him to just be a rim protector, no offense, or they want the offense, but you could sacrifice the defense, or they want the best player ever. Like you're not getting Jokic, you're not getting all these elite caliber players, and I think that's the unrealistic expectation of DA right now. Is that everybody's been saying, oh, he should be a David Robinson or a Hakeem Olajuwon caliber player, but really you're getting LaMarcus Aldridge, maybe. Like, is that good enough? Well, if you're surrounding him with KD and Book, it should be. It should be.
If he does those things. But that's the thing, is like, I feel like for a lot of people, it's also just coming to the realization that he's not going to be an offensive hub. And if he is your offensive hub, you're going to struggle to score with him as the number 1 or the number 2 guy. In this system with KD and Book filling those slots, like, yeah, you can maximize him, because when he rolls and he's surrounded by shooters, he's going to do what he does best. He has good mid-range touch. Like, I don't want it to come off as we're not acknowledging the fact that he is an elite play finisher, because he is. He's really efficient in those regards. But when you need a bucket, you don't have him as a guy that you can pass the ball to and watch him create something. And that's what differentiates him. And that's why it's so frustrating when he doesn't do the little things, because if he's not able to just dribble in the short roll and finish at the rim, and then he's also, missing assignments defensively, or not crashing the offensive glass, or just kind of not rolling with intention, it can be frustrating to watch. Or when he bobbles a pass or whatever. Like, I think people are really way too hard on DA when that happens, but it does seem to happen at critical junctures, at least recently. And I think people need to reset their expectations for what he is and what he can bring to the table.
I just don't think DA can win here. Not literally.
No,
he can.
With
he
the fans.
absolutely
No.
can.
That's why I'm said not literally. I'm talking figuratively. He can't win no matter what he does.
No, and I
there
disagree
will
with
always
that.
be people mad at him.
I disagree with that. It's legitimately like, if he just does those things that I've listed off and the Suns keep winning, it'll be fine. I think during this stretch, no, he can't win, because people expect him to produce on offense, and that's just not his skill set. That's not in his wheelhouse.
But okay, we say he can't produce on offense. He has his best, per game scoring average of his career right now, 18.4. He's 8th in rebounds per game. Like, so he's doing something. I think it's just this, there was such a vast expectation. And how do you overcome that vast expectation to just be the guy that's good, probably one of, if not the best center the franchise has ever had, and just be able to be that. And I think if they win a title, to Saul's point, and he does those things in the playoffs like he has, maybe that's the point. Maybe that's when everybody goes, you know what? We're all right with this DA because they reached the title. And I think that was a very good point that Saul made on that.